Yo, hello guys. So we are just rating the League of Legends patch 13.3. This will be the future patch. Now, there will be some buffs, nerfs, champion adjustments, system buffs, and system nerfs, and some system adjustments as well, right? Really interesting. Now, when it comes down to Nidalee is getting buffed. The reason behind that might also be that the Banshee component is quite cheaply accessible, which can also disallow her to connect the spear from one hand. From the other hand, I think it just really comes down to that recently some of like Storm Surge got nerfed, right? Some of the major items got nerfed here and there, but mainly Riot Games says that the champion is weak because she lost Night Harvester, but I do believe a lot of them just use Protobelt, no? I've seen some of them going Protobelt, some of them rush Lichbane, some of them went Night Harvester. I mean, you've seen all of the builds on her, right, in the past. Now, again, they should be a little careful how they buff Nidalee, because it's very similar to Karma. Karma got recently nerfed, right? Because the issue with Karma is they hard buff her, right, her scalings, right, and all. And then I feel like she was too annoying and too strong on top lane. I played it myself, I played against it, and it's unbearably annoying. It's unbearably annoying on top lane. So it just really comes down to like, sure, buffer in the jungle, but in a way that it's just not way too annoying on top lane again. Wukong buffs, Wukong Pike buffs 100% reasonable. Both of these champs been quite shit actually. Now Pike did actually get some benefits out of the new patch, such as having Profane Hydra as a form of wave clear, because his wave clear does suck. But for some reason he's still not like. He also has, by the way, the other item, of course, that he can utilize well. How is it called? Basically the item that gives 100 damage on hit plus ace slow for 0.75 seconds. How's it called? It's some lethality. It's some lethality item. I assume like he has some good items, but at the same time he doesn't have like the old Yomus, or perhaps his issue is that there are just like way stronger supports that are like quite good at poking, because like poking is a very meta thing right now, and often can be very overwhelming because he doesn't really like provides any shields and heals to him or his AD carry, so he's very forced to all in, but he may not get to do that all the time. Or B scenario, there are some tank supports that are quite meta and they are very annoying to deal with for Pyke, so Pyke is, I feel like Pyke got some new items that are nice, but it's just like still Pyke. I think it's okay if they buff him because the champion is just like weird. Wukong, reasonable buff, probably gonna be a top lane buff most likely. That definitely gonna benefit his jungling as well. His champion ban shit forever. Into AP matchups, you always fall off. Every AP matchup is super unfun to face as Wukong, right? Then it just really comes down his jungling ban overly nerfed, and he doesn't have Divine Thunderer, which is a big sucker. So before, a lot of people build that Divine Thunderer on Wukong, it doesn't exist anymore, so that's a bummer. A very long time ago, Gordlinker was also built that back in the time when it was actually useful, before the Gordlinker nerfs, of course, but it doesn't even exist, so it's kind of a sucker right now, so it does actually get buffed, so he's more of a bruiser. Because right now he's quite squishy without Divine, that's the truth. Then it just like really comes down even with Divine. When Divine existed on Wukong, he was still pretty shit on top lane, you know? And a lot of AD matchups like Ribbon could also deal with Wukong, so it wasn't only like AP matchups you're shitting on him. A lot of matchups just took skill to beat, you know, and I just never really found his plates on top lane because he got nerfed out of jungle, but then it also like affected his top lane. He buffed his R, but he just never managed to be like a strong and fun champion. Then I hope it's probably gonna be both a jungle and a top buff, because in both ways he just kinda sucks, but in the jungle probably shouldn't, or maybe he could be buffed harder. Maybe we'll see some type of lethality Wukongs, to be honest. I'm not sure what to tell you guys. Maybe we'll see some lethality Wukongs, we'll see. I'm just like still thinking of like maybe Riot Games wants to push Wukong maybe into a lethality playstyle, who knows, right? Because the Bruiser one, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. Recently, like a lot of lethality items are quite strong, so maybe there could be some lethality flex. Zeri W rec items. What does that even mean? What does it even mean? Some are building the wrong items like Zeri, so we are updating the recommendations. Basically, I guess basically the recommendation will recommend more often, I assume, items like experimental exploit, like things like that, general things like that. Now, some nerfs as well. Azir obviously spam picked in pro play. Now, they did actually nerf Azir in the past, but this champion always receives nerfs when it's played in pro play, right? So, it's one of those like standard pro champs that been played for years, but usual. And now the current issue with Azir is, I assume, as Riot Games said, where exactly pro champs like Azir Karma, we overbuffed it, right? So the issue with Azir is that they gave one hits to Azir, right? So when you get Nashor Tooth, you're forced to go Nashor Tooth non-stop, that's true. But when you get Nashor Tooth, you have one hits, and you can now apply Fleet on your W. So matchups that would be harder, they are not that difficult anymore to deal with and scale into. And then you're gonna scale super well. So it just really comes down to that these nerfs also benefited him, the on-hit nerfs on his W. So I think it just really comes down to that, that it's just like that, like it's just still very viable in pro play. It's very often picked, and it just doesn't allow too much diversity when people pick Azir in pro play. So that's that. Lilia, obviously she gets a lot of benefits out of the new items like Rift, Liandry, whatnot. She's actually quite strong. Then the other reason behind it that she does HP based damage, so champions with HP based damage like Lilia Brand, of course, are dealing quite a lot of damage because now there are no MR runes that you can get up front. You can get 1 HP rune or 2 HP runes if you're a tank, and she does lots of HP based damage of Liandry for passive, and that just sucks. So that's like one thing to really watch out for. And now the other hidden thing that people don't talk about when it comes to Lilia, Iceborne is way less builded because it's quite shit, and Threadbreaker is quite shit as well, and Bork is way more shit because it's slow. Like all of these slows are nerfed, right? And that benefits Lilia, right? Now there is still Raleigh that slows as before, but what has got nerfed, guys? Cheryl does Grudge, right? And because Grudge got nerfed and it only slows under 50% HP, Lilia loves that. Lilia loves not getting slowed perma, right? And I feel like, I think even Red Slow got nerfed at the time. I'm not sure if I'm correct to say this, but it just really comes down to like how hard like slowing items got nerfed recently, so, and those things also super benefit Lilia. But let's just move on to Rengoku Knife Cat Rengar, right? Basically gets nerfed because Red Game says he's too strong, right? Like if you go to champs like Rengar who are popping off a bit too much, as he's one of the few champs that double benefited from Hubris plus Profane Hydra, definitely there is nothing wrong with those items. Nerf the champion, right? The thing is, these items, Hubris is strong if it's stacked, right? And Profane is just strong. It's just strong. And I feel like it's just not. I mean, I guess Rengar is really good at abusing them. I don't say he isn't, but it's just like the items are strong to be told. I don't know if it's really Rengar has to be nerfed, because then if you nerf Rengar, why don't we nerf other assassins that also abuse these items like Kayn or whatnot, or Kha'Zix or whatnot, so why is just Rengar getting targeted? It's kind of weird that there's like only one specific champion that's getting targeted. Meantime, there are many other champs that also benefit a lot out of it. Now I know Rengar has good AD scalings, definitely. He has a passive that amplifies AD, so he definitely gets value out of these. But I think they're just like Talon, like how much value Talon gets out of it, I'm still thinking that why does Talon not get nerfed, or some other AD. Like there are definitely some other AD assassins that abuse these items, in my opinion. But okay, let's move on. Trundle now. I don't know about Trundle. He felt to be nicer to play, and now he gets nerfed again. The thing is, Trundle is not like insane or anything. I know people get more HP, and champs that have been strong for a while, like looking at you, Trundle, champions with max HP damage. Now he does actually deal max HP damage on his R, but it's not like Lilia on her passive, she perma deals like HP based damage, right? And I feel like it's just so shit to nerf Trundle, because if he gets nerfed, he's useless again on top lane. Now, I'm not sure what will Riot Games nerf. Maybe he's good. I actually don't know what to say. Well, what will they nerf on him? But it's like nerf. Like currently, he's playable. He's not that great, you know. He's playable. He's not that great in my opinion. Both in the jungle, both in top lane. Uh, these nerfs are so random. Because like he's generally not that great of a champion, you know. And Hellbreaker being nerfed and not having Divine and Borg doesn't slows more when you need it. I just don't know honestly. Like at least after the buffs they gave him on his Q range and plus like one more AD per level makes him feel to be at least nicer to play, but I don't think so he deserves to be nerfed just because he does look we deal HP based damage. Because okay, there is Brand Liliat, he deal HP based damage same as Randall, but I mean there's so many more champs that do HP based damage, right? Like why does Fiora not get nerfed then? I guess Fiora did get nerfed in the past and she's not in a good, not in the best possible state. She used to be stronger before. I mean, Potent still did reach rank 1 with the champion, even though like Fiora is not in the her best possible state right now. She also does HP based damage, you know. On top lane, Trundle may have a bit more power early on, but it's like their power level can like sort of even up. Then why does Fiora not get nerfed or some other champs? You know, like I think it's just like weird to like specifically. I don't know like why are specific champions targeted. You know, when there are so many more champs that basically do the same thing. You know, like basically there are just I don't know, like Xante does HP based damage on his W and his passive, right? Like it's like there are so many of those. You know, like. I don't know why it's like Lilia Brand are fine if they're targeted, you know, but it's like I don't know. I don't know about these guys, but let's move on. So buffs Asol, reasonable buff because Iban quite underpicked, quite. I'm not sure if I can fairly say out useless, but it takes way too much to scale. And it's like instead of it's not even played for that reason. His gameplay is oddly specific how to play it. Maybe that's why people don't like it as well. But I think it just takes forever to scale in solo queue, and that's why like people are not like buying those skins, right? That's why we buff the champion. Reasonable buffs. They're gonna buff his Q basically costs less mana. His W has way less cooldown, goes down to 50. 15 I mean, and basically they are nerfing his Stardust gain of his Q. It's right now 3 instead of 1. So that just simply allows him to gain more Stardust, but he gets less Stardust of like creeps with his E. So there are some downs as well, not only ups to this change, which means if you're fighting more with Aurelion Stone, you'll get more stacks, but if not, you're gonna get less. So I'm not even sure if those things are buffs, to be honest. They might end up, the champion might end up to be as even as it was before or worse. To be honest, I'm not sure what to say right now. Yorick, alas, now he's getting a buff because, well, they nerfed his Maiden, but it's not smiteable, right? Like, it only deals 40 damage to smite, right? But it's just very, like, Yorick is a weird champion because, like, they're kind of, like, buffing him. They're buffing both the Bruiser and, let's say, the Lethality build, right? So they're making him more of a Bruiser, heals percentage-wise on his Q. And he also heals like really nicely off champions right now. Basically his E casts way faster, which is super good for the lethality build. And there was something else that was buffed, which I don't really remember. So the buffs are generally really nice buffs that make the champion feel to be more viable. Just because Hellbreaker got recently nerfed, the bummer part is that you don't have Duskblade, or some people went the band, some people went Eclipse. Eclipse does exist but doesn't provide lethality, so basically like some items like Yomu's and whatnot, you know, are different these days. Perhaps this is like more so buff towards Bruiser Yorick. I feel like as I read the Yorick changes, because Divine doesn't exist, right, and the Bruiser build is not the best on him, so I assume that's why he gets buffed. My bad, I almost said nerfed. Champion adjustments, Corki. Now Corki does get some type of, I don't know if this will be a buff or nerf. Maybe they're gonna push him towards a crit build. I'm not sure what exactly they will change. Currently the Malignants, you know, Muramana, whatnot. what do they go? Sojin, but some people go Eclipse, but like Sojin does more damage when it's stacked up, so that's that. I think like Sojin is better third, but it's mainly like a mixed build. And I'm not sure what will this adjustment do. Does it mean that they adjust him towards a crit build? They adjust him towards what exactly? I don't know, but at most hopefully it doesn't mess with his fun and strong build. Of course, with the what's it called? With the hybrid. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Hybrid build. Now Alawi obviously gets buffed. I think they are assumingly they give a bit more range to her tentacles, basically, because the issue on top lane is in the middle of the top lane. You can just really connect your tentacles with ease, which just disallows her to even so play the game. She got some type of buffs, but they don't fix the issue that she cannot connect her tentacles properly. This will definitely buff Alawi so she can reach things way more smoothly, even in the middle of the lane with her tentacles. The only downside is that it will suck for your opponent, because that extra tentacle range will often mean that it's way more easily to connect that tentacle range of a wall when you ult. And also notably, she will maybe sort of bully harder in lane when she pushes in the wave, so these changes might just be a bit scary as well at the same time. Depends how, I don't know. These changes are just a bit, could be scary as well, could be scary. Now let's move on to Maokai. So most likely it will be some type of buff. At most, I hope. That game said something here about its adjustments, right? Others have some role or build things that we would like to adjust. I actually don't know what does that mean. So do they adjust the champion towards a specific build, which means like with a specific build does he function way better? I think at most it should be a buff. I feel like in the jungle Maokai is okay. He could be better, but he's okay. Maybe it's like more so a top lane buff where he is not that insane. He's not that great overall. So I assume really easily he could get buffed there. Probably gonna be a top lane buff. Specifically, I feel like more so a tank build or something. We'll see. We'll see what these changes will do, of course. Zyra, don't know if it's a buff or a nerf. Zyra banned just a shittier looks, I feel like, on bot lane. She summons plants which are kinda good into a blitz hook, right? Occasionally, which looks cannot do as an example, right? But I just don't know about this champion. This champion is just like never played. This champion is just like they buffed her in the past, but she's kind of a whatever champion, to be honest. Like I don't even see much gameplay of her to even judge properly how good or bad she is, but she's not that insane. She's not that great. I feel like Brand was just even in the jungle, Brand or Karthus I think were just better. So I'm not sure what to say, guys, but she's just one of those type of controlling supports, and it's like I don't know. Like she can get some buff. She can get some buff. Champion adjustment, Shaco as well. What the hell are they adjusting on Shaco though? Are they making his Z so it deals physical damage so it works with lethality, or I actually don't exactly know what. Maybe they will push him towards the lethality build, or they will adjust his AP scalings into AD or reverse. I'm not sure, so maybe it will be a buff for both builds. I'm not exactly sure. Probably in lower ranks it does really well, Shaco I assume, so could be a nerf as well, possibly some nerfs, buffs here and there, right? Not sure, to be honest, what to tell you guys about these adjustments, because I can't really predict anything when it comes to Shaco. Likely it's not gonna be a nerf, I assume, or nerf buff. It's gonna be a nerf buff, Now, system buffs, Queen's Rage Blade, obviously it needs a buff. I feel like if you combine it with Kraken, it's like somewhat great, but the item alone is not good. So if you don't combine it with Kraken, Queen's is not that great. I feel like it only, like it doubles your own hits, right? On the third basic. It provides attack speed, AP, AD, whatnot, right? But it only provides like 30 magic damage on hit, which is kinda whatever. Cause like, I mean, it just doesn't really scale us anywhere, and on the third basic you're gonna deal like 60 damage because it doubles, but I just don't know. The item doesn't really
The item doesn't really feels to be good for its price, or it's just like not that strong, you know. Like the item solely alone is not that strong. It's strong with some champs, but I don't know, some champs or some item combinations, but alone the item is kind of shit, you know. Essence Reaver now, Essence is got buffed, but it's just still not the best to buy. Uh, yeah, definitely buff it, because lots of people that would go for Essence Reaver, they go for Trinity Force instead, to be told. So it's not very, you know, it's not like it's not builded overall, you know, because it just really comes down to like now that Guinsoo synergizes with Rage Blade is, I mean Guinsoo's Rage Blade synergizes with Rekka, my bad. It's like it just doesn't really. On many champs, people just don't really go for it anymore, or there are just better lethality options or whatnot. So it's not very builded these days, and hopefully it will be a good enough of a buff to make it viable on Tryndamere, the champ I play, or some other champs, you know. I'm not sure. Like the new Essence Reaver, ever since they nerfed its AD scaling, it just gone appeared, you know. Like when they nerfed it, all they had to do is just not nerf its AD scaling, you know. All they had to do is just not heavily nerf its AD scaling, and we would be happy. Now, Luden's Companion, another system buff. Lots of people complained about the item, even so Nemesis now and then. It can get buffed because like it's not like the old Luden's Echo that does actually give that actually does give some type of like magic pen, you know, and some speed. And the issue with Luden's Companion is that it lacks that speed. That speed was so good actually, and the pen, right? So it's just like obviously worse than Luden's Echo because it used to be a mythic, but it's probably just like gonna be like some flat damage buff. I think Malignance get buffed. Now Malignance is strong on some champs like Swain, whatnot, you know, Serat, whatnot, but generally it's a shit item. Okay, now it does provide you cooldown on your ult, which is nice occasionally, but often people don't even stick to that zone, you know, and it doesn't provide you pen either. So it's just good on specific champs, but it's not generally good, you know, if it makes sense. Seraphs, I played it on Gragas, it didn't feel to be insane. Maybe they buff his AP scaling the shield, I'm not sure exactly. Rod again gets a buff, I think they typed down something about the Rod. Where exactly? Inside this bucket of changes are buffs to API mana items, Roa. Archangel's Malignance Ludens. We didn't feel comfortable doing this, but burst was high and AP as a whole was OP. But now those are corrected and we are fixing the choice structure. Okay. Along these are some nerfs to Alternator, Rocket Belt, Helia, Shift, Stormrazor, Profane, Leech, Titanic. Right. Our philosophy is that some procs should scale with level ratios if it's important that they stay relevant with the game time, or more shouldn't for damage fall off. Proc damage scaling excessively with ratios turns champs into item delivery systems and turns already snowbally champs into Giga Snowball. Threadbreaker is also becoming a Tiamat item. So at most all of these items could be buffed. I feel like Rod was kind of shit ever since they removed the speed, to be honest. You got one level, but it's just kind of weird because it's often whatever. Except if you play it on specific champs like Kassadin, that's where it could maybe matter more, but it's just like very specific to some champs, and on Kayle you can't even build this item overall. Maybe if it's buffed enough people will get it on Kayle, I'm not sure to be honest with you guys, but all of these buffs are at most reasonable. Kayanik Rocker, nerf it. Now Youmuu's is not nerfed for melee champs, so you guys shouldn't be worried, but for range ones it is, because everyone is overusing it, Senna, Jean, Graves, whatnot, and it's so annoying to play into as a melee champ, because like you can't gap close, it's so cheap as well, only 2700, they get it so quickly, and it doesn't feel like you can catch them, you know, like it's just so annoying. It's just perma escape. I mean, it's just so annoying, you know. Like Senna is not nerfed. That's kind of weird as well. But I guess like Collector got nerfed and Youmuu's, which Senna does quite often build. Kayanik Rocker, we already know. There's no explanation needed. Basically, the item was kind of broken. Too much MR, too much shield. It's just too OP, and it only has a 12-second cooldown. Now that's crazy, right? For a gigantic shield, It's 12 seconds cooldown out of combat. Like, what do you mean by that? Now, item proc damage, system adjustments. So they're adjusting, of course, as I said earlier on, the proc changes. So, if we scroll down, proc damage scaling excessively with ratios, turns gems into Giga Snowball. Gems Lightbreaker is also becoming a Tiamat item. It's struggle to find an audience where doing it is particularly too unique it against like Revenus and Titanic, which is okay, so here's the thing, guys. Look, it's really needed to have that Tiamat, so you have actually a useful item component that helps you to wave clear, because a lot of champions lost their wave clearing potential due to the Stride Breaker changes, which kind of sucks to be a Stride Breaker on many champs. It doesn't deal damage, which also sucks for Garen players, because it's harder to push people into lethal range of your R. But also notably, it's just like, on some champions it mattered more, on some champions it mattered less the wave clear, but now this is a really good change, 100%. And it counts to be a Tiamat item, right? So that's also good on phase rush Garen, because you can more easily like use the Tiamat to phase rush out, so that's good. A bit of wave clear occasionally, it's nice on Garen, some extra early on, so that will be a Garen buff at most. And static shield will be useless. I seen the changes, but the item is just useless. It's just the damage is too nerfed even on minions, even on champions, and it provides no DPS. I think it's just kind of a useless item. And I mean that's basically it, you know. That's basically it. So there is one singular tank item worth building, Kyanic Rocker, and you're nerfing it. I feel like majority of the defensive items being garbage, and everyone trying to go 5 damage items might be an issue. Tanks are living longer than any time in the last few years right now. I think his tanks are not shit. Oh, it's a Shinshin. Shinshin. Did he turn the name from a Shinshin to Shinshin? That's kind of weird. No, he's not right. Kyanic Rokan is definitely good, but I think Ashinshin is really not right in here. He definitely has good opinions, good takes, but I think it just really comes down to that they have Force of Nature, got the broken items. They have a cheap Frozen Heart. They have a broken... They have a very, very broken random installment. 30% crit damage reduction. When a tank builded that, I didn't deal damage, just string damage. I didn't deal damage. And those are just some examples out of the top of my head. Now, Heartseal did get nerfed for HP stacking champs, which is a bummer. Before it wasn't. Iceborne is cheaper, a bit more accessible, but there's a downside, it slows less, of course, so ups and downs really there. But I just feel like there are just many like good tank items, to be honest. Like Jackshaw is a scaling one, of course. These days you get it later on, but I feel like it's not like they are bad. They are bad. I feel like they're not bad, you know. Surely forgot about dark nerfs. I feel like Bard is kind of shit, to be honest. No, like as they nerf the support items now and then. I don't know about nerfing Bard. It just always feels like a troll champ. Every time people pick it, it just like, I don't know. Like every time they pick it, it just really feels like they are sprinting it in my team. And I never seen like such an oppressive broken OP champion. Can you please nerf Twisted Fate a little bit so he's less picked, less banned? Thank you. Yeah, he's a bit too strong, I would say, this patch, but he never banned like for a very long period of time he was like quite bad, you know. So now he sees a bit more play. A reason to nerf Naafiri Q is not getting buffed, or are you still waiting another? Bro, every time you see Yamato complaining about lethality champs, oh no, like the thing is like a lots of like lethality champs, like Naafiri, have super good items, right? They have Cyclo Sword, they have Profane Hydra, Wave Clear, Vitality, Profane Hydra is broken, Hubris, if you get enough stacks it's strong enough. It's like, obviously, skill or some champs will be nerfed, like Ringar. Naafiri was bad, of course, like, nerfed in the past, just because it's just like, I don't know, bro, like, it's like every time I see the same complaint, like, under a Rioters comments, like, in the comment section, and basically it's just like Yamato complaining in every single like comment section. Why is Nafiri not buffed or Lethality not buffed or whatnot, you know. And it really comes down to top lane, you know. Like it's not even like Nafiri can be very disgusting on top lane. He got nerfed out of top, which really affected his mid lane as well. But it's just like people have to understand it. Like if a champion is too strong in the lane, then it's even stronger in like it's even stronger on top lane. So it could be a balance for two lanes, you know. So that's it for now, guys. Have a nice day.